It's Stacy. I wanted to talk about in this video what my traumas personally were slash are. I don't want you to think it's a trauma race. Who can outdo the next person? Because it's not. I just want you to know personally where I'm coming from, and I guess just for the purpose of you understanding me more as a person. Alright, my first trauma, the main one that happened and led me on this path to understanding what trauma recovery is and my whole life's path for the last 15 years. I went to school at UNLV. I was working on my bachelor's at the time. My major was biochemistry, and I was doing really well in all my classes. I lived in the dorms, and I had a job at a tattoo piercing place on the Strip. That's where I got my heart tattoo. But anyways, walking home from work one day, I sounded awful. Walking home from work, I was mugged and beaten up. It's taken me a long time to be able to say that. Just flat out. Another trauma was a back injury that I sustained 7 or 8 years ago, and that was just from heavy lifting. I had a fish tank that needed to be cleaned, and I would carry buckets of water back and forth trying to save these fish. I love animals. If you can tell, this is Bob laying over here in the screen. That's why all my blankets are messed up. I have 2 Jack Russell Terriers, and they love to bury themselves in the blankets. Probably one of my biggest joys on this earth are those 2 babies. Another trauma, maybe about 5 years ago, I had skin cancer, basal cell carcinoma, and had to have surgery to remove a portion of my nose, and that was a big blow to my ego. Some traumas you will just be healing from your entire life, and there's nothing wrong personally with me, what I've learned about my face. What I'm still trying to get into my head, drill into my head, is there's nothing wrong or vain about missing who I used to be. That just isn't who I currently am anymore, and that's okay. And the grieving process, like I said, for some things it's never over. There are just some things that make such an impact on you. All you can do is learn who you are now and move forward, trying to make your new self happy. And those are my personal traumas. Those are the ones I feel comfortable talking about. There are other traumas that affect us that aren't personal. Those of the people that we love and care about. And even though that's not our personal pain, we are connected to it because we're connected to them. And that's okay for that too. That empathy is a very important component of life, I would say, but I guess that's personal opinion. I think there's a problem these days with people and not separating personal opinion from fact. I am in no way a doctor, although I plan to be. I have my master's degree in developmental psychology, and it is a bachelor or a master's of science, although I plan to be a researcher. I want to create or learn the knowledge that will eventually be put into textbooks. Like, I didn't even know that was an option, but that's like, for someone that's always loved learning, that's big for me. How I mentioned I like World of Warcraft, well, my stream name on Twitch is Schoolgirl, and that's a name that I've had since I was 16, and I'm 42 right now. And I've just always had this love for learning, and because of the path my life took, because of choices that I myself made and things that happened to me, because of those choices, I am here, and I love who I am. Who I am right now is completely relevant, and although I miss the person that I used to be before all of those traumas happened, especially the biggie, the quake of 2003, you know, they end up dictating my path, and I can hopefully help people with the negativity. I can turn it into a positive. I can take a negative and transmute it into a positive. It's a World of Warcraft term, but I also believe in energy. I believe in putting good energy out there and getting good energy back. I believe in working on our own flaws realistically, not in a pressuring way. I should say that too. That's another thing about me. I have had an anxiety issue since it became a problem in 8th grade. And I was right on the verge of high school, and for some reason, I guess that freaked me out. And I didn't really know how much, but I started getting hives before school every day, and it got to the point where I couldn't go to school, and they had me with an allergy specialist, and what he ended up concluding was that it was stress. Like, I would do all the pinprick tests and stuff on my back, my arms, and nothing. At one point they thought I was allergic to milk, which was awful because that's like one of my favorite things. Milk, ice cream, like cheese. Oh my god. That was a nightmare. Like, the quality of life, like, would you even want to live that life? I think I might have been like a dairy farmer in my past life or something, because I just have an affinity for dairy. But there's so much stuff now, like coconut milk, and I bet there's other stuff I could find that I love. Anyways, I take the time to process my trauma in real time. When I think about something and it makes me feel a certain type of way, I reflect on that. People call that meditating, but honestly, it's just thinking to yourself. It's just thinking about why you did certain things. but not to a point where it causes any kind of negative energy. That's a really important factor in my recovery, is positive self-talk and like a positive attitude despite all the negativity around me. It's called something. It's the lesson of the cockroach, the Native American lesson of the cockroach. How to flourish when your surroundings are toxic. Not that my surroundings were toxic, but the traumas had made, I guess, my brain toxic. I was just sad all the time, crying all the time, unable to get out of bed. I love spending my life in bed. I know that now, that's just a part of me, but I might do another video that gets more in depth about my traumas, because I'm really just scratching the surface right now. I'm sure you can see the compartmentalization that's happening right in front of you, the dissociation that happens when you have to consider your own actions and like the causes of your own actions, why you think what you think, why you think that's what, like that. It can get to be too much. And I'm a very analytical person, so do it until it becomes negative and step away. Get used to recognizing how you feel in real time and stepping away. I'm sorry I have to go. You know what I mean? Just, it requires time, and you gotta put the time in. It requires so much time to heal, but it's really the way to go. Generationally, people have just been taught to push it further and further down, all their trauma, all their sadness, all their whatever. And that's just not the way to do it in 2023. We know too much about psychology now to keep walking in circles, doing the same thing. We know more. We need to use it to help people. Not for money. Good luck.